I'm here. I'm here in Minnesota. And perhaps this is where it all begins again. I'm back at the beginning. I'm back at the beginning. And that is fine. I'm a different person and I have learned different things, and there are things that I need to tackle. I get to choose. I get to take I get to choose. I get to take away I get to take away from whatever life gives me, whatever is in my experience. I choose. I consciously choose. I consciously choose what the meaning is, what the message is. What I just watched could be a number of things. It's letting you know how many people are around you. It's sharing your message. Personally, for me, I recognize that when something comes in, fears that I have had inside are immediately the first things that I see. So when someone says something and someone, boom, like, these are the fears that I have had. And sometimes it makes me think that that person is against me, that they're doing it on purpose somehow, because I have felt so guilty within myself, or about something, or for some reason I think something is out to get me, like whatever that is that I have been scared of. It feels like it's facing me, and now things have been used, and it's like, in terms of church, like, or this notion, like, nothing formed against us shall stand. Even if it's psychotic to think that there's anything against us, like, nothing formed against. So that God has this way of taking something that was meant to be used against us, and using it for our good. And so, almost like this, I picture this like glove. I grab this glove, and the fears, the things that come in, the things I've surrounded myself with, all of these things, I catch them, And I say, no, that is not my story anymore. That is not my story anymore. This one's not going to be my story. Just not going to be my story. I've made that decision, and it's not what my story is. That changes right now. Boom. I've got another one. It says, you know what? No. Things can happen. And like, that's just not going to be the story that I live. Boom. Like, I can feel like, and what stories and connections do we make because of the fact that we felt bad about something? Then we take on this blame when it may have nothing to do with us. And it's the associations that we make to it. So, just enough with that fear. Enough with the guilt and the blame. Just done. Everything that we do, all of the movements, that it is inspired from somewhere. And then it's the idea of like, well, if other people are experiencing this, then we can share stories. Thing is there's a range of experiences that I could talk about. You know, what story am I going to choose to focus on? Which part of humanity? What part of my story? Like, then there's the whole story. Like, what do we choose to share? What do we choose to do? Quite frankly, like it's like I feel like there's just pressure of like everybody wants me to share my story, and I'm just like, God damn it, I don't like. Can you just give me a second to like? Yeah, I did want to do that. I wanted to be this person. Just give me a second to recalibrate, because I need to like solidify some things within myself. Like, I'm not saying like, because the story's never going to end. So at any point I can start sharing something, but like, I really need to get like reestablished. Like, what do I want my story to be like right now? Minnesota is like I'm like building my shit back up. Like, yep. Like, a lot of me right now wants to be like, oh my God, like, I missed everything, and run my ass back to LA and get all my shit and fix things somehow with Mecca and rebuild that, or take this opportunity, or go write this thing and go, like, I want to do everything that I didn't do. I want to go, like, I had all of these things in alignment for me, and I didn't take them, and part of me is like, okay, well, you didn't take them. Maybe like you weren't ready to take them then. Like, maybe there was something foundational missing, and it was like this belief and trust in myself that like something solid. Even if identity isn't real, even if it's like, oh, like there's this like smooth, just like let go of everything, like somewhere in there that's true for me because of the anxiety. Like, somewhere in there I feel like, generally speaking, my whole life I was a very anxious person behind the scenes. You know, and I did things in such a way, like, or decisions, or I took things, like, I was formed in a particular way, and that navigated the world and had all these other things that go inside as well, that I guess now I know if I would have meditated or something at that time, like, it wouldn't have been necessary. I would have had to associate, so, like, now all these thoughts are, like, ridiculous to go off of. So then it's like, okay, I get to college, like, and now I'm like letting these things, these thoughts, enact. I'm acting on them. I'm letting them come out that I had like suppressed, and now I'm trying to make sense of things that I learn and know and believe, and share that, and then just try to like have it be okay somehow, and share those things with my mother, and then then it's like the world falls apart. The world falls apart when I share the feelings that I had. I didn't share them when I was little. And yeah, like I didn't want to upset anyone. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I get why. I had the perception that was possible. And that's maybe an unfortunate truth, but that is the perception that I had as a child. That's just the perception that there was. And I'm recognizing now, like, again, like it might not have been the truth, but that was my perception of it. And so I end up basically, what, freaking 10 years later saying, and like, then boom, here it is, and what we held inside, that just went really terribly, and that was incredibly painful. And I tried to process that, and there was a continued yearning and craving that, and like, for parents, like, there's a process, like, that's a big, things are big changes, like, that's just what it is, so there needs to be that understanding. And so yes, people want to say, like, oh, well, like, you weren't in truth, then, like, the pain was something else. See, now I feel like my issue is I'm like fixated on the story. I'm fixated on my own story so much because something comes up inside of me when I'm unhappy in a job. And now I'm back and forth between, like, what is going on? What is that? This is where I come from. This much of, like, dude, just get a job. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, and now I've put myself into a world where I learn, like, this is what's happening, and it's this consciousness, is this work, and you think that when this is the possibility, and this is what can happen, and trying to understand, quote unquote, these levels of consciousness, trying to, like, understand what all of this stuff is. Like, being, like, realistic and knowing, like, somewhere inside there is this space, and just I've legitimately been trying to understand this stuff, and I think that I don't want to run from whatever that truth is. There's, like, a practicality to me and a groundedness in my Taurusness that I know has always, I need to stop changing. That's always been a part of me. And then as I've allowed myself to kind of act on these other pieces, I just gotta, like, trail all of this back of, like, who and what is really me. And that because it's safe to go into the past. It's safe to understand who I am. And I get that the ultimate truth is all of these things are being put together. So maybe there is a space of, like, peace and, like, oh yeah, like this peace and this love and this experience of how do I say it? This peace, this love, there's a very practical and groundedness that will work for me. Okay, and the thing is there is I believe a system and a formula, and I think that it's true. I just think that it's, a part of me says it's meant to go slower. The other part of me says, no, you're meant to use it and like get through the fears, or it's meant to humble you and you recognize, like, wait a second, like, yeah, like there's a reason why we want some of this to be a little bit slower. Like there's like a process here that works well. So that's fine. I am where I am. I've learned what I've learned, and now I'm reintegrating and processing everything, which is fine. I can make it through the process. And um and I've got these little bits and pieces and parts. I've discovered things about myself. I'm forever transformed in mind, body, and spirit around the experiences I had. I don't want to deny anything that's true about those experiences, and I recognize that by very nature, there has been a shit ton of confusion. And it's fair for me to take some time to like allow that to like dissipate. I have to trust that like I am like protected, and that was what is meant to serve me in this experience is going to, and like has and will continue to. I recognize that there have been pieces of me that have very much wanted to come out. And I've judged that. I judged it from day one, thinking about like the trans stuff. I mean, these were things that were cycling back through because they weren't addressed. And I wanted that more than anything. Like, I did. Like, I really wanted to be this little boy, and it's been so judged as this negative thing, and I've judged it as a negative thing. And yet I also loved like the church, and I loved Christianity, and there are these pieces that didn't feel quite right, and I'm trying to create this testimony and stories, and I'm recognizing I don't know what was really true there. Like, sure, one could say I wasn't connected to myself. I'd say I knew the thoughts, feelings, and desires inside. And yeah, like from one space we can judge that shit and say like it's terrible and it's made up and and it comes from this, that, or we can say, listen, it's here, like, what if it's not hurting anyone? And I think that's where I try to figure out, like, do we get to act on that? Like, because people have thoughts all the time, and then they want to, like, somewhere we've got to, like, try to, like, help each other along, and, like, maybe the list of, like, what it seems to be helpful or hurtful for people. What does that mean to be yourself? Like, what does that really mean? Like, is what does that really mean to be yourself? And I would say if there are these freaking parts of yourself that you just think are weird and other people would judge, you know, and want to try to make something wrong with you about. Fuck that. Like, I'm kind of getting to that point where it's just like, fuck that. You know, like, I look in the mirror and I'm like, dude, I like what I see. I mean, I did not what I liked what I saw before. Like, I did. Like, I mean, I did because I was like, oh, you're gorgeous. You're beautiful. And I was upset that I was like, well, I don't have a freaking boyfriend. Like, you know, I wanted certain things validated. Didn't make sense to me. Like, well, why doesn't someone want me? And I just wanted it to be the popular people or something. Like, I don't think and I got a kick out of it. Like, when there was that kid, the younger one who is a little bit younger than me, and he was like obsessed, and I was like, tell me why this one kid, tell me why this is like, hey, he's only a couple years younger, and I was like, why does he's like the only one that sees, except for the boyfriend that I had, and or whatever, and what's funny is I wanted to go to homecoming with the other kid, because I actually thought the other kid was attractive. I think I actually wanted to date the other kid. And I was embarrassed because I was like, oh, he's a freshman and I'm a senior. And I was like, I can't do that. And I think I was scared because I was like, he probably wants something that I'm not going to give him. I was embarrassed. And then I dated someone that I didn't even want to date. I felt that. And I played into this idea of like, I'm the senior girl, you're not doing that. Like, I didn't even allow myself to go there. And the funny part is that kid, like, I thought he was very attractive. Like, I don't know. I try to think about what maybe could have been with something like that, or like his, like, the thing is like, I just wasn't used to feeling like that person. Like, I can remember, like, you know, the inside, and like, that felt really nice. That felt really nice to have that somebody like look at you like that, feel that way. Like, I was not used to that. Or even like there's like Andy Timmons, I suppose. Like, there were these kind of guys, but even then, that was kind of shitty. Like, I was insecure. I was nervous about things. I wasn't used to. I don't know. Then the one person that I felt most equally matched with wasn't able to date me, and that ended up being gay, so. I look at all those things and it's just like, man, like, yeah. It's like, and from this point, I'm still trying to reach outside and I thought I was supposed to feel on the inside what I assumed people felt on the outside. And then I began transitioning and letting this part of myself out that I had buried deep inside, even before I think I Because I did recognize that there was a part of me that wanted to be Josh Simmons, wanted to be this person that looked like a certain way, and so here I am, having transitioned, not having the body yet because I stopped doing that, desiring it, somewhere inside feeling like I think it will match how I feel, and also having this really like feminine experience. It feels like it's not gonna come out. I feel like this is the dichotomy. Like, I feel like it's all of these things, and I'm trying to understand how a physical expression that can kind of allow for all of it, and I don't feel like there is one. So then you kind of just have to like pick. And I guess most concretely, I feel like I think that there's an either way you can go. I think that there's probably a narrative. You have to look at the fact that I didn't say, I have a history of not saying, doing, being, going after what I really want. And I think there's a reality that somewhere I started that and I was on fire, and when I found that church and I decided, oh, whatever, if I have to believe this, and I was just on fire, but ultimately those fears caught up, and everything caught up. And it was like I was living this fairy tale. But it was funny because in that space, like, I had something enough to live for outside of that it worked to an extent. But I was also caught in the different churches. Like, there's just different things, and I think that somewhere along the way, the layers, as things started kind of crumbling down, and I was envious of people who had always been in like this kind of one path. It was all just there. And then the other side of sitting in things that were not great. And then to the other side of that, where it's like you live an experience and then you have the radical transformation, and and then that's just your life, and that's like the path that you stay on, and it works. And so I feel like my path and my story is so jumbled with all these different things that it's like I don't really know how to tell the story anymore, because I'm always trying to like make sense of it, and then there's all these layers and perspectives and concepts that I can use to apply it. And now the one that doesn't go away feels to be the one that says you create your own reality. And I think there's just a reality of I'm honestly trying to figure out what I want. Because last night I can be hell-bent on being an actor and being like, yeah, and have all the reasons for going after that. And this morning right now, based upon XYZ, I want to, I'm okay with like being in the Midwest, having a job that I like, somewhat enjoy, making people's lives easier, better, and a partner, a wife that can get married and like have that experience. and just be this man that I wanted to be. And like there are just a range of possibilities and ways for me to show up, which I think is why acting is appealing, because then it's like I can be a lot of different things because I feel like that's what I am. But I know that each thing that we decide is kind of based upon everything leading up before it. And so I'm trying to reprocess and integrate. So what in this moment, what do I know that I want? I know that I want a healthy body. I know that it like I want the healthiest body I can have, that's like flexible, agile, strong, just strong, and it's strengthened, and that I'm working with my body and I'm training it in a way that is what it can do. Like I guess I want to recognize, like, if my body is not meant to be a certain way, see, here we go, then I'm at this point I'm saying within the confines of transitioning, because that is what I've wanted. That is what I went for, and I did it. And I still feel weird and guilty about that. So I got to sort that out. But assuming that I'm still moving forward in like this testosterone and all of that, like getting my body, just being kind to it, but also like doing things that are like, okay, like this is okay for it, and preparing. Like I feel like my emphasis and focus is so much on health. So I want, first and foremost, it needs to be the healthy body. And what else do I know that I want? I know that I would love to see my family in amounts that like work well for all of us. I know I want to eat right. I want to be able to afford what I can eat. I want to be able to go to, like, I'm okay, like, if I'm just peaceful, slow, taking it time by time, day by day, working out, doing the things to prepare. Like, I want to be able to be patient. And I think now's the time where I'm being patient. I want to create then a reality. Like, yeah, I want all these things, but you know what? I feel like I don't need everything to happen this instant anymore. Like, I want to take the time to build things up and really become established. I do want to be able to set up a legacy for my family. Like, I want to be able to set something up that can be over time. And I think that I can start that now. I think that now is the perfect time. I've been through a range, and I've seen that what I want is possible. I just have to follow these things. So I recognize, like, I want a mentor. I do want a mentor. I want a mentor I can trust, someone who's legitimately established wealth, who knows how to do that, and I want to do that in integrity. Who said, like, listen, like, I've learned, like that honesty, like, I've learned, like, I'm an honest person. I want to establish this. I know that it first comes from inside. Like, I want to be able to give that. I want it to make a better impact on the world. I want what I do to then end up being able to be this, like, service. And maybe it's creating residuals, creating, like, I don't know. I still need to take the time to allow myself to figure out, like, what it is that I want to create. And then there's all of, like, the cosmic elements of, like, water, fire, using all these things to flow and bring all of it into the experience. So then it means, like, I need to study business. It means that I need to read those books and really understand the material, and allow myself time to study these things and understand that material. I want to build a business for my family. Like, I want, and I don't know what that even means, because it's like, it just, I don't know, like, I want that. I want to build a business for my family. And I want it to be something that's in a way where it doesn't feel like, oh, it's just get rich quick. Like, I want to then, I guess it requires other people to have jobs, which I feel kind of bad about because I don't, but I'm hoping that then it's in their process. Like, I want to build a company then that's like, it's really developing the character, and it's really just that it's really doing these things from the ground up in like a way that is like patience. So right now, and from that end, and it's like, if that means that while I'm doing that, you know, on the weekend, I'm studying acting, or I'm with like an instructor, I feel like I need to get, like, once my foundation isn't set, like, what do I want to do from that point? And not because, like, oh, what am I capable of? No. I've learned everything. But, like, from that point, now that I'm not having a bunch of instability spring out what I want to have happen, now I can be like, okay, well, these factors are all taken care of. I want this, like, now what? And so I feel like it's just then allowing that. There's a groundedness that comes from the God concept I had prior. So there's just these things. I'm like, okay. Like a workout routine and regimen. Like getting my mind back in that. Like working through that. Like working out in the morning. Going to work. You know, I want to do the things, like, I have to sit down and be like, well, what do I want to do? And is that going to get me there? What is going to allow me to build the things that I want to build? Because I do, like, I and maybe it's how I was raised, but yeah, right now I've been operating like wanting someone to provide something for me. But who do I really want to be inside? I wanted to be able to provide, and maybe that's fine. I want to be able to provide a home for myself. And then maybe I'm dating someone. You know? Like, and she can, like, legitimately come over. Maybe there's a guy, I don't, you know, like, kind of the part is like, just, I don't know. I do recognize that if I felt like this man that I want to be, I probably wouldn't really care about the other thing, and I'm kind of just kind of going backwards in certain things. And yeah, there's a reality that where and who I am right now looks this really skinny gay Twinkie guy who will just go and explore all these realms and ranges of sexualities, and let's do this, that, and the other thing. That's not, I'm not that person. Those are thoughts because I want to just feel certain things and express in certain ways, and have certain experiences. And I think what the reality is I know that like if I were honestly, if I were to be with a man, I would want it to be one man that has never had sex before. And we are getting married and I'm the first one. Like, I feel like there is an opening for that. I don't even know how to go out navigating my experience of that. So by and large, like, the created story in my head though goes towards this building this house and life for this female and myself, and really being a particular person in that. And then I'm open to other things. And maybe she can join me in that business. Maybe we build it together, but there's a certain level of being built within myself. I don't know. I guess I'm going to try to take too much of my own control off of it. I think, pray that, like, God knows my heart. God knows that I really, really, really want a partner. And that the time when I was like, you know what, I'm going to focus on my career. Like, I watched what happened, and I watched this cycle, and I watched this experience, and that is what that is. And maybe everything was perfect and I didn't, but I think I was like, wow, I wasn't quite ready for navigating all of this. So where I am today, right now in this moment, is recognizing, all right, there's some things I need to do. There's some maybe action steps. There's a way of living and being that I'm desiring to experience. Gonna get still and work through what these things are that keep me uncertain. And there's practices, but I'm in the Midwest again. I'm back home. Like, let's use this time to be at home within myself, to really kind of get back in touch with, like, my roots, but recognizing, like, whatever it is I need to do to feel like I'm expressed. Because that's there. That's in there. But I feel like for acting, like, you need to definitely have, like, a solid sense of yourself first. Like, you want something solid to be able to go off of and then see. So it's like, I know that that's somewhere here, and I know that music is here. I know that these things have different components. I know that there's that dream of just making music with my partner. Like, and Mecca and I ended up seeing, like, where we could have done any of these things. So I just gotta stay on, like, what my thing is, and really buckle down into, like, what do I need to do, like, and not like this is what everyone has to do. It's like for myself, and to stay fucking committed and planted. Like, I've got to figure. I'm not trying to change myself in a way that's, like, against what's gonna work for me, but, like, I've got to find a way to make this work. So I need to pray. I need to just be like, okay, it's not everything's going to happen right at once. It's not all going to come overnight, but there's something, and I need to kind of go into, like, what is that something? Like, what is that place? What is that thing going to be? Because it's like, I know enough, like, I want I want more than just for my life. Like, I want to be able to set it up for me or people to, I just want to like create this freaking empire. And I feel like, I guess my self-esteem rides on it. Like, if I don't do, like, I'm capable of it, I have the desire, and if I don't do that, like, I'm a failure. So I guess there's this really, like, I need to just really work through these things and within myself. And right now I just kind of, I need a job with a good income that I am happy going to, that I can just be at, and that I can sort through some of this stuff. So like, what's something that can provide me a decent income that I can do, that I can feel okay with, that can really be on par and okay in my mind. That's it.